Welcome to Oklahoma City and the Paycom Center. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're in New York tonight, so why not roll in women's gymnastics? It's the first night of the Sprouts Collegiate Quad Weekend, and NC State's in the house, the ACC defending champs. Their toughest competition was probably from their own Clemson Tigers and out of their own conference. They come in just their second season as a program, hoping to build on a great first season. The Michigan Wolverines, they were the 2021 NCAA champions. Well, they've fallen on hard times. They got a lot of freshmen on that team, and they will hope to rebuild this year. The Arizona Wildcats as well. Top 20 most of the season, but they didn't finish the way they wanted to. They have a senior-laden team, and they're hoping to show everybody how it's done here in 2025. You're watching the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. Let's take a look at our schedule presented by Sprouts. This is session 1. Session 2 tomorrow looks like an NCAA finals preview. Oklahoma and LSU, two great rivals there facing off. And then that last session headlined by maybe Jordan Childs, Olympic champion, and her UCLA Bruins. That will be a fun one to finish off the weekend. Hello, everyone. I am John Roethlisberger, and I'm joined by Olympic champion Allie Raisman. Allie, the most wonderful time of the year, the start of women's collegiate gymnastics.
I am so excited for this weekend. I've been waiting for so long. It is an epic moment for women's gymnastics, and it's only going to gain momentum this weekend. As you mentioned, tomorrow could be a preview of the national championship, so I can't wait to see how everything turns out.
It's going to be fun. Let's start by breaking down the teams tonight. Let's start with the two ACC teams.
Yeah, from NC State, we have Chloe Negretti on her 6th year, and she's the ACC champ on vault and floor. I love watching her on beam because she has such fluidity in between her elements. She's beautiful to watch, and I'm excited to see how she does tonight. And then from Clemson, Rebecca Wells, she's the superstar of this team. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, their last training session, she sprained her ankle, so we're only going to be able to see her on bars tonight. We're hoping she gets better soon because she is such a massive contributor to her team.
Yeah, that's going to hurt the Clemson Tigers. She is big time for that team, and it was just a weird roll of the ankle on something very simple, but it sounds like she should be back. If she wanted to go, she had to go. I'm told that she would have gone tonight, but she will still be on the uneven bars. We do not have to travel this journey alone, Allie. We are joined by the third member of our team. She's got more on the Michigan Wolverines, Taylor Davis.
Happy to be here, John. Well, for Michigan gymnastics, with the departures of Naomi Morrison, Gabby Wilson, and Sierra Brooks, it feels like a new era. 8 total newcomers and one of the most exciting freshman classes in the nation. One of those, of course, Jazara Ranger, who debuted in the all-around last week. We will see her in the all-around again tonight. And of course, they're still led by 5th year and captain Carly Bauman. Head coach Bev Plotke told me no one should try to chase the legacy of a previous athlete. This is their time to create a new one.
Thanks, Taylor. We'll see what those Michigan freshmen can do. But for the Arizona Wildcats, it's going to be all about the seniors. A couple of their seniors who are going to be big. Allison Fears did all around every meet last year for the Wildcats. She hopes to continue that here into 2025. Emily Mueller is also a senior, and she is big time on floor exercise. Those seniors for Arizona, they're going to be big. We'll see how far they can carry that team. So here we go, the first session of the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. It is going to be a heck of a weekend. It starts right now from Oklahoma City. Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, powering women on and off the mat. Here are the athletes getting fueled by Sprouts. They also got a chance to visit the gift station from Kendra Scott, pick out some pieces of jewelry. I don't think I was invited to the gift station.
I don't think we were either.
Haley Bryant clearly was invited. Here is your double dual quad meet format. No more than 2 events occur simultaneously, so you'll see 2 events going on at the same time. Vault and beam will alternate, bars and floor will alternate. Teams rotate in Olympic order, however, they do start in different places, so for some of them, they're not the pure Olympic order of starting on vault and finishing on floor, but they will rotate through that order. A lot going on. We'll keep you updated on scores and standings the best we can as we go. You'll see the scoring tower on the right hand of your screen soon. to get this first rotation going. Michigan will get things going on vault. NC State, they're on uneven bars. Clemson on balance beam. Arizona on floor. Allie, do you have a favorite place to start?
I would say vault is typically what they call Olympic order, so that was the event I was used to starting on, and then you get to end on floor, which is arguably the most exciting event.
How about starting on beam, though? Is that something that athletes like to do, or they just like to avoid that event altogether?
I think it depends on the gymnast preference. I personally wouldn't want to start on beam because you kind of want to start on an event like vault to kind of dip your toe and see how you feel. And typically you're the most nervous in the very beginning. So I wouldn't want to start on beam, but I'm sure Clemson has practiced a lot and trained for this moment, so they're ready.
They have definitely mentally prepared. Kaylee Adamides, the junior, starts on the right hand of your screen for the Wolfpack. Ava Jordan, outstanding sophomore for the Michigan Wolverines, starting on vault.
Yeah, I was watching NC State in practice, and I've been so impressed with their bar routines, hitting their landings. Ava did a great vault, full twist. She was a freshman walk-on, so I'm so happy to see how much they're using her in the lineup. Kaylee doing double tuck. Let go a little bit too early, needed to hold on just a little bit longer, but good start for NC State. That leadoff spot is very nerve-wracking, and it's so crucial because you set the tone for the rest of your teammates. It gives them confidence when you hit.
So here we go with Clemson. This is Lily Leppett getting things started here. She has been an outstanding elite gymnast, battled some injuries coming into college, but they've managed those injuries, and she's an all-star for this team, and to have her in the leadoff position, Allie's, that's big.
Yeah, her coach Smith describes Lily as the team unicorn, says she's the leadoff because she has the ability to just handle the pressure so well.
Elizabeth LaRusso on the right hand of your screen, leading things off for the Arizona Wildcats.
Elizabeth starting off very strong with a front double twist. And Lily's doing a great job of staying in her zone. Can be sometimes startling when you're going on beam and you can hear the floor music at the same time. That full turn, you're gonna see that over and over again, or some variation of it. It's a requirement on beam. Great routine. I guess that's why head coach calls her the unicorn. Able to handle that very tough pressure of starting off first.
And a unique dismount, a gainer front full. We see a lot of gainer back fulls off balance beam, but Lily doing something fairly unique right there. And you can see the scores on the right will start to populate. You can see Ava Jordan's 9.75. Important note about women's gymnastics. Keep in mind, you see 6 athletes per event. Only 5 of those scores will count for each team. Again, so if they have a mistake, if they have a fall, that's not the end of the event for them. They can drop that score, but do not have more than one. That one is, they give you one freebie, but you don't get more than that, right, Allie?
Yeah, that's correct. And I don't know if Arizona could have started better on floor. That's definitely going to give them confidence for the rest of the competition.
Somebody I am just super excited to watch here in 2025 is Jazara Ranger, freshman for the Wolverines.
Wow, I completely agree. That was a Yurchenko 1.5 twist. It's out of a 10-0. We are going to see big things from her tonight, and she's definitely someone that you're going to want to keep your eye on. Watch her elbows onto the table as she catapults into the air. Big step on that landing, but that's okay. We're still very early on in the season.
Peyton Childs now for NC State on the uneven bars.
Jaeger release moved actually looked very far, almost caught that on her fingertips. That's actually what the judges love to see. Won't get a big deduction on that. Just risky that you won't catch the bar. Blind full into double tuck dismount.
You can see that score from Adamides, her teammate, a 9.475. That is not a score they want to count. You see scores in those mid-9 ranges, around the 9.5 score. Those are not high caliber scores that top teams in the country will count. Counting scores, I would expect in this meet, you want to see certainly 9.7 and above, hopefully in that 9.8 to 9.9 range. Lily Lippett, 9.775. That's a very good score for a leadoff, certainly on balance beam, as we see Bree Clark now, redshirt junior, take to the balance beam.
The key on beam is to imagine you're doing everything on the floor. Very difficult standing punch front. Takes a lot of strength to do something like that. Handspring layout, step out. I love the height of that layout, step out. That skill, that straddle quarter, landing on the side of the beam is extremely difficult because you can't use your toes to grip the beam in the way that you could if you're facing forward. Wow, great start.
You said pretend like you're doing it on the floor. She made it look like she was doing it on the floor. Nice job from Bree Clark. Now Allison Fears, one of those seniors for Arizona that is going to be big for this team throughout the season.
Starting off with a 2.5 twist. Very hard to squeeze your legs together the entire time. Jenna doing a Yurchenko 1.5 twist, same ball that we just saw. Was able to really catapult off the table. The judges will take deduction if you're not high enough, but that shouldn't be an issue for Jenna today. She got very high.
Scores building for Michigan. Started with a 9.75, then a 9.8 from Ranger. We like to see that. Oh.
And that will be a deduction because she not only landed short, but she had her chest very low and touched her hand onto the ground. So they're gonna wanna drop that score. Good job coming back from that. It's really hard to come back after you know you've made a mistake, but she couldn't have done that last tumbling pass better.
So unfortunate mistake from Allison Fears. Definitely do not want to put that hand down. Here's another look at Jenna Mulligan, Allie.
Yeah, I really like the form in the air. A little bit of leg separation, but I loved how high she gets in the air. And then as she gains more confidence, she'll be able to find her landing better. Judges could take up to 2/10 on that landing.
I covered Michigan last weekend when they were in Denver, and all the coaches would say afterwards is, we just want to forget this meet. That is not us. That is not what we want to take into the next weekend. So far, great start for the Wolverines. NC State here on bars. They got things right with that 9.725 from Childs. Here's Ava Myers now.
Ava has beautiful handstand positions. Top of the bar, just like that. Judges allow for a 10-degree window at the top of the bar. Beautiful routine for Ava. Nice stuck landing. They want you to hold that salute position for 1 second.
Freshman Danica Nielsen, left hand to your screen for the Clemson Tigers. Great start for them on beam. Bree Clark, a 9.8. How nice is it, Allie? You start on beam, I feel like the pressure would be amped up. You're nervous, you're jittery at the beginning of a competition, but if you can hit and come out of the gates with a strong performance on beam, how much confidence does that give you the rest of the way?
It gives you so much confidence, and this is actually a new series for Danica. It's very difficult. She's gonna get 1/10 bonus because she connected 3 skills in a row, so taking big risk, but it gives you a lot of confidence because the beam is very unforgiving. You breathe at the wrong moment, your arm goes down just the slightest hair and you could make a huge mistake. So it's a really nice feeling of calm when you get beam over with. Nice. I've watched them stick these dismounts over and over again, and they practice like they compete, and I think that's why they're doing so well on beam right now.
Another look at that series you were talking about, Allie.
Yeah, back handspring, layout, step out, 3 skills in a row. We're gonna see that a couple of times this weekend, but not too much because it's very difficult and you take that extra risk. Round off 1.5 dismount, just a slight shuffle. I think she'll get a 1/2 deduction.
Amy Smith had the #1s in the air, I think, before she even finished that dismount. You can see head coach in the back right of your screen there. Amy Smith in the 2nd year as head coach of the Clemson Tigers. Their 2nd year as a program. She came from Utah State and did an outstanding job there. Brought a lot of the athletes and some of the staff with her to Clemson. Peyton Davis now gets ready to go. She'll follow Jenna Mulligan's 9.825. So every score building, you like to see that in your lineup. Let the scores get big and hopefully end with an exclamation point.
Yurchenko full, so 1/2 less than we just saw Jenna do. That's out of a 9.95. Same, I think that's going to be about a 2/10 deduction on that landing, but I think this vault rotation is going to be really good for Michigan's confidence going into bars and beam. The judges are looking for the lift. She's 6 feet high, massive height off of that, and just that step on the landing, slight pike down. When I spoke to a judge, she said when we're watching Yurchenko fulls, we expect we're going to see a slight pike down. So they know that's a deduction that they're going to take. They want to see hips open the entire time until the landing.
Those tech tools are presented by AAI. Thank you to them. Sierra Church now on the balance beam. Danica Nielsen, a 9.7. Had one wobble and little foot movement, but the judges definitely, I would not say they were easy on her. Got a long wait on floor exercise before Aubrey Kronfeld, the freshman, could take her turn.
Yeah, it's hard not to get in your head when you have a long wait in front of you because you're just standing up there thinking about what you have to do. Non-beam, back handspring layout went a little bit too fast. It's very common when you're nervous to rush your skills. Non-floor opening up with a double pike. I don't think she went out of bounds there, but took a hop back. Judges allow what's different than the elite level. In the elite, you have to stick your passes, and on floor in college, you can lunge out of your tumbling passes.
You can lunge, but you don't want to have that bounce, right?
No, no bounce. And a judge told me, which was very helpful, ask yourself when you're watching floor, did she want to take a step or did she have to? Over-rotated that 1.5 as well. When you're starting off on floor, sometimes you have a little bit too much adrenaline, and she did have to wait a while. It adds to the nerves. Beam dismount, round off 1.5. I noticed that they really emphasize those dismounts and sticking and holding those landings.
And that was a rule that started last year. You cannot do what they call the college stick, where you kind of land and turn real quick to the judge. You have to hold that final position for a second in the direction that you landed, otherwise it is a 1/2 deduction. So I think it looks a lot better. It really kind of shows off that finish, Allie.
Yeah, I agree. I think it also shows confidence, and these gymnasts work very hard. They should be very proud. They should show off their stuck landings.
Paige Thaxton now following Peyton Davis's 9.725.
Same vault full. And that is going to be actually not only the deduction for the step, but there was a little bit of under rotation. So the judges could take an additional 10th off for landing short.
It almost looked like it was a good enough Yurchenko full, but just trying maybe a little too hard to get that stuck landing. Caroline Volk now, the 4th gymnast to go, following a pair of 9.725s. Remember, that's 9.475 you see. They're trying to drop that score, which means they need 3 more hits, including this one.
I like the control in this bar routine. Double layout. Keep in mind we have a different viewpoint than the judges, so they might not have been able to see that slight leg separation that we saw.
And usually they can on the double layout, we're being honest, but man, the finish, the stuck landing, that is what you want in women's gymnastics.
This was a great routine. I think this is the best routine that they've had so far tonight.
Philip Ogletree on left hand of your screen in his 8th season. Loved it. Here's tomorrow's ACC Network men's basketball triple header. Clemson hosts Florida State at Little John to start us off at 2 Eastern time. Then North Carolina and NC State square off in Raleigh. And finally, Virginia Tech takes on Cal. Great afternoon of basketball on the ACC Network. Got some conferences going on, balance beam. I think that'd be the last place I'd want to have to wait for the judges. And just to kind of review, we got NC State with a mistake on bars at 9-4-7-5. You see their scores on the right hand of your screen. Arizona putting themselves in a hole early. They have a 9-2-2-5 and a 9-3-5. They're going to have to count that 9-3-5. They're putting themselves in a tough spot. Michigan doing well on vault. Paige Thaxton only a 9-6-2-5, however. Looking for a really strong finish from Sophia Diaz there. So already some mistakes early. Abigail Martin now following 2 mistakes from Arizona. They absolutely cannot afford to count 2 misses out of the gate. Got to hit 3 more routines here.
Beautiful double pike. It's always nerve-wracking. You know, these gymnasts, they train together, they get so close, and you want to do well for your teammates, but especially when you go right after someone, and in this case, 2 people that have made a mistake, it certainly adds the pressure. So I imagine she's feeling that right now.
Kaylin McCrite finally gets her turn to go after a long wait. Sierra Church a 9.75.
And Abigail finishing so strong. That's exactly what they needed. I could see her really finding the joy and relaxing in that routine. That's definitely going to set them on the right tone and give them their confidence. And Kaylin, I really enjoyed watching her in practice. I love her toe point. She's like a ballerina on beam.
As you're looking at the score tower on the right hand of your screen and looking at those scores, the one that is more lightly shaded, that is their lowest score. That's the score that that team will drop, assuming the rest of the scores on that event are higher than that one. So if you got your calculator out and keeping tabs at home, that is why that score is lightly shaded. Here's Elle Hedrick.
On beam, may have missed that connection. When you're connecting 2 skills in a row, the judges are going to deduct if you don't have a fluid movement. If one of your shoulders drops slightly, you may not get that connection. Bars, great routine. A little bit of a low squat on that dismount. She did stick it, but the judges can take a deduction if they feel you squatted too low. So I'll be interested to see what they do there.
For the sophomore, Ellie Hedrick, nice job for her in the 5 spot. So one more hit for NC State is what they need on bars.
Showing off beautiful flexibility here. The dismount, gainer full. Another stuck dismount on beam. Beautiful routine.
One more yet to go, and Allie, I know you love this gymnast, Sophia Diaz. Just an outstanding, a sensational junior gymnast before coming to college, and she seems to be picking things right up here on the collegiate floor as well.
Yeah, she's gonna do the same vault we've seen already from her teammates. Yurchenko 1.5. Wow, nice block off the table. I actually don't think she needed to under-rotate it. I want her to trust the height that she gets because she got such a good block off the table.
It looked like she just put those arms out, you know, pulled the parachute, I like to say, a little early, wanted that stuck land. Dangerous to try to stick the 1.5 though, right?
I know, the irony is you don't want to go for the stick because you want to make sure that you're doing the beginning of the skill correctly, but that was beautiful. Okay. Judges are also taking into account, they want to see you get distance. They're looking at your hands from the table and where your feet land.
I think those are the one-step shades because they can't be the stick shades, right? She took a step.
I can't keep track of all the different things the teams use now.
I can't either. Here's Emma Strom now on floor exercise. Abigail Martin a 9.775. So she got things right. They really need to put up some big scores here to finish. Keep it close. They will not certainly be in the lead after this rotation, but you do not want to dig yourself too big a hole.
I love that connection, front 1.5 into a back layout. Judges are looking for a 180-degree split on floor and beam. And on beam, Quinn doing a beautiful back handspring layout, step out. So hard to stay straight on those 3 skills in a row. Sometimes when you're on podium on beam, when you're on this stage, the beam can be a little bit bouncier, which makes the beam feel wobbly, which obviously makes it more challenging when you're trying to flip and stay straight on that.
Quinn Cool and Clemson need a 9.95 or better to pass Michigan, who's currently in the lead. They are done with this rotation. NC State needs the same score to get the lead after 1 rotation.
Great job. I actually saw her fall on that in their quick warm-up before this, and she did a great job coming back and making that correction. I've been very impressed with them in practice, and I'm even more impressed with the way they just handled that pressure in competition.
Quinn, one of the taller gymnasts, 5'8". Tall for a gymnast. Katie Harper here on bars for NC State.
That first release move called a Ginger bent her elbows a little bit, which made her pull in close to the bar, but did a good job readjusting that. And her handstand positions are beautiful. It's really what the judges like to see. And then a double layout dismount. That was gorgeous.
Incredible double layout. Maybe one of the best you're going to see. She's wagging the tongue. She earned that. That was a beautiful finish. Needs to match her career high of a 9.95.
Yeah, that's right on the top of the bar. That's so elegant. I wish my handstands looked like that when I competed.
Come on, Allie, your handstands were fantastic.
You're just being nice. This is beautiful, beautiful gymnastics.
Why not have a little fun with it? Making it look easy. So still waiting for Quinn Cool's score to come in. They will most likely drop that 9.65. Emma Strom for Arizona, 9.825. A very good rotation for Michigan. Didn't break the 49 though, and that's one thing. Keep in mind, if you've been following women's gymnastics over the last few seasons, you've seen a ton of 9.9s, a lot of 10.0s. This season has started with lower scores. Judges talking a lot in the offseason about trying to rein in some of those scores, not throw so many 10s. And I think you see it early in the season. We'll see what happens as we progress through the season. But right now, breaking a 49, used to be 49.5 was great. Now breaking that 49, you're doing something pretty good. Here we go with Emily Muller. On floor exercise to finish things off for the Wildcats.
Keep in mind, Emily has had to wait for all of her teammates to go in front of her. So it can be really hard to not overthink and get in your head when you have so much time on the side to wait your turn. when the gymnasts do 3 passes, ending with a double tuck. That's an example of she wanted to take a step. She did not have to. I don't think she'll receive any deduction for that final tumbling pass.
The 3-pass floor routine is kind of going the way of the dodo bird. It's becoming extinct. A lot of 2 passes, not too many of these 3 passes.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously you take more of a risk when you do 3 tumbling passes because there's more time for judges to take off and more chances for them. But I admire it, and I think when people are able to do 3 passes, their body can handle it. I think they should be rewarded for it.
We're going to go down to Taylor, who's got our Jersey Mike's coaches interview. Taylor?
Thank you, John. Well, Coach, a quad meet on podium early in season. Your composure the entire way through on one of the hardest events. How impactful was a start like that?
It was huge. That's what we've been training for all year, and just so proud of them for going out there and doing that. Like, to hit 6 routines coming out of the gates like that was spectacular, and excited to build off of that. Excited to finish out this meet too.
How can they build on that specifically on floor in the next rotation?
Well, we are a great floor team and excited to get out there and do that, and just excited to get out and be doing gymnastics again with Team 2 in 2025. So,
aren't we all? Best of luck the rest of the way.
thank you so much.
John.
Great start for the Clemson Tigers. Also a great start for the NC State Wolfpack, the defending ACC champs. It's been 40 years since the conference title for women's gymnastics in the ACC has been contested. They won it. We'll talk about that conference when we come back.
Accomplish what they set out to achieve, bring back ACC gymnastics after 40-year hiatus. They were on a mission to be back-to-back ACC champs.
For me, it felt very like storybook and very fairy tale. It felt exactly how it was supposed to end. You know, we were kind of able to keep hold of the title, maybe a 40-year gap, but to say back-to-back is a very cool thing.
I mean, to add another Power 4, I guess now, and to be able to compete for an actual conference championship, it's big time.
The first year of ACC gymnastics was incredible. Stanford and Cal joining, I think, is such an incredible opportunity for the ACC itself. There are 2 such dynamic and impactful teams who have achieved a lot of success, so I think that will really motivate the other 4 teams in the ACC this year.
The first year being in the ACC was cool because it's also a start of a new conference as well. And coming from the Mountain Rim Conference, it was very different, but the level and the standard is higher in the ACC, so it's really cool.
Well, conference realignment has been a hot topic across all sports for the past year, and it is certainly relevant here in NCAA gymnastics. Just a year after reintroducing the sport to the ACC for the first time in 40 years, they now add 2 statement programs to the ACC in both Cal and Stanford. Cal, of course, the national champion runners-up, and Stanford with the longest team streak, 5 consecutive NCAA appearances. And talking to the athletes, they welcome the challenge. But John, they recognize, as if it wasn't already tough to win a conference title, it just got tougher.
Absolutely, and I know NC State and Clemson, the 2 ACC teams here tonight, they welcome the challenge. They both want to be one of the best teams in the country, and if you're going to do it, you got to beat the best. And right now, Cal is the best team in the ACC. That February 2nd meet, the defending ACC champs against the number 2 team in the country from last year, the Cal Bears. That will be fun. The Clemson Tigers, Amy Smith in her 2nd year there, they had an outstanding season, and they certainly want to build on that, and she knows how to do it. Allie, the Clemson Tigers just in their 2nd season now, last year obviously being their first, but they're not sitting around waiting for a long-term build. They want to be good soon. They've gotten off to a great start.
It's hard to imagine this is only their 2nd season. That opening beam rotation was so epic, and that is something that I think takes years and years to build. I'm so excited to watch this team. I know Clemson has invested so much money into women's gymnastics, and you can tell. So they're definitely going to be a team to watch, and one I'm very excited to see the rest of the competition and watch them in the future too.
And I think one thing that's amazing is we look at Amy Smith, the head coach, 4 sellouts in their first season. And there's programs across the country that have taken decades to build that fan base and fill the stands. And here comes Clemson. And they're not messing around. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it'll be interesting to see them in the next few years. As we get ready here, so rotation number 2. Emily Muller on the left hand of your screen for Arizona on vault.
I think that was one of the best landings we've seen tonight so far. Just a slight hop. I think the judges will just take a half of a tenth.
Sophie Parenti for Michigan on the right hand of your screen. Michigan is your leaders after 1 rotation. It's very tight though, less than half a point between first and fourth.
This leadoff spot on bars is crucial. Bars was my least favorite event to compete. It's a lot of pressure right here. This is where they struggled last week. They started off on this event. Great start today, just that step forward. But I think that they'll take that. I think that will help build their confidence.
NC State's Meg Adler on the left hand of your screen. NC State second place after that first rotation.
I love the confidence she shows after that back handspring layout step out. There's a lot of thought that goes into the routine construction. The process of figuring out which skills you do first, which elements you're gonna do later on in the routine. And a lot of these dance skills are choreographed into the routine to help the gymnast breathe and relax in between each skill. That's the skill I was talking about. When you land on the side, it's very challenging to grip the beam. You can tell she moved her shoulders a little bit forward.
Saw Lily Lippett lead off on balance beam for Clemson. Here she is again, leading off the second event as well.
Meg doing a great job doing one skill at a time. You can see the confidence. Excellent start. It's really hard to start on beam, and Meg did a great job.
Sophie Durr for Arizona. Second gymnast to go, following that 9.75 from Muller.
Sophie's new to the vault lineup. It's gonna be a big test for her. That was beautiful. I loved the body position in the air, and her shoulders were open on the table, so it made the vault look really beautiful. That was a great routine. Lily ending with a 1.5 to punch front full.
Fun new routine for Lily, and she's battled some shoulder injuries over the last couple of years. Her coaches have really found a way to manage it, though. They've limited some of the training she does and really focused on what she needs to do, and she's really excelled under that plan.
Yeah, I think as gymnasts get older, they gain experience, they trust their body, and they know what works for them.
Here's Jazara Ranger. They call her Jay-Z, so we're just going to go with that from now on. Jay-Z Ranger now follows a 9.675 from Parenti. You definitely want to do better than that. Oh,
wow. That was, I think, the best save I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how she held on to the bar. That is impressive.
I have never seen a one-arm catch in women's gymnastics. I've seen it in men's when the high bar is much smaller, but to hold on to that bar.
Wow.
It's still going to be a massive deduction, but I love the grit.
I agree. I wish there was a way they could give her bonus for that, because that takes so much strength, and that is a fighter right there. She did not want to let go of that bar.
She actually missed that release move last week, was just too far away. She's getting a little closer. Next week's going to be the week she gets both hands on the bar.
It's so difficult to time those release moves perfectly. If you let go just a moment too late, you fall off the bar.
Here's Maddie Hall for NC State. Maddie's been battling some sickness this week. We were just talking to the coaches before the meet and said she will go, but she's not felt great coming into this meet. Seems like a common theme really amongst all the teams we've talked to her early in the season.
Yeah, if you're at home thinking about when you're sick and how it's hard to breathe, it is so hard to do gymnastics when you're sick, it makes everything feel like it's just a million times harder. So the fact that she's out there competing is impressive.
And when balance is so important, having a sickness, especially a head cold, which seems like not a big deal, try to get up on that balance beam when you don't feel sick.
That's definitely something I don't miss.
Maggie Holman for Clemson, the sophomore, follows Lily Lippett's 9.825. Fantastic start for the Tigers. Again, third place after the first rotation, but so early and still very close after one. Abigail Martin on vault. Nice start for Arizona here. 9.75 and a 9.8 from their first two athletes.
Wow. That was a great vault. I like the emphasis on what the judges call as phase one of the vault, from the springboard onto the table. She had good lift. The higher you are onto the table, the more amplitude you're able to get in phase two and phase three on the vault. Wow, that was a really good save as well. It almost, I don't know if her legs gave out, but her legs needed to be perfectly straight to get that spring, and her legs were bent. She did a really good job recovering that into the layout step out.
That was magic.
Yeah, keep your eye.
Some voodoo going on there.
Yeah, keep your eye on her legs as she lands. See how bent they are. I don't know how she did that, but she recovered that really well. When you're exhausted to the end of your routine, these routines take immense endurance. Sometimes your legs just get exhausted and it's hard to keep them straight at the end.
I love the look on her face, though. She just kind of finished, and it looked like it was just another day on floor. But you and I were thinking, how did she stay on her feet? As you can see, Eric Lewis there talking with her, the associate head coach. The Clemson Tigers came over from Utah State with Amy Smith when she moved from that program to start this one a couple years ago. Sanaya Thomas, someone NC State is very excited about, a freshman just mounting the balance beam, and Ava Jordan over on the uneven bars for Michigan. There's trying to stop that bleeding after that Jay-Z fall.
Wow. On bars, watch Ava's shoot over. Watch the handstand position as she catches the bar. Beautiful. I love how she did it the exact same way she does it in practice. On beam, that's a great connection. That's exactly what the judges are looking for. They don't want to see you stop. They want to see a continuation of your arms moving throughout.
Sanaya's a walk-on and originally just a vault and floor gymnast, but talking to the coach, she said she figured out beam. She just figured it out, and here she is, and doing 3 events. And really, they're very excited about what she could bring to this program.
Yeah, they also mentioned she's the most improved athlete on the team. Side aerial there, dipped her chest. Didn't touch her arm on the beam, though. So that's good. I think she'll get at least 2/10 deduction for that. But yeah, it's really good for her to get the experience of competing on beam, because it does often feel different than it does in practice.
If she keeps up that improvement, it's going to be hard to keep her as a walk-on, I'll tell you that. She is doing good things.
I agree. Right there, those side aerials are so difficult to stay straight on.
So Maggie Holman for Clemson on floor, 9.65. Here's Madison Minner.
Did a great job squeezing her legs together the entire time.
Elizabeth LaRusso for Arizona. Good rotation for them on vault.
Then go full. That might be the first stick we saw tonight. You think they'll give her the stick?
I think so.
I think so too.
We have not seen a lot of stuck landings. We saw a couple bar dismounts with stuck landings, a couple beam dismounts, but again, early in the season, not a lot of hard landings in training. I think trying to keep those bodies healthy.
Yeah, it also is more force and sometimes more painful on your body when you stick the landing. And that 1.5 to the back layout step out is actually 1/10 bonus, and I love it. I think it's so beautiful and a great way to end the routine.
Madison Minner, such a great story too. Trained an extra year at her club program, which is right near Clemson's program, hoping to be part of that team. She heard they were going to add gymnastics. Her coach, Kevin Prady, who actually was a gymnast of my dad's at Minnesota, called Amy Smith and Eric Lewis and said, hey, I have a gymnast, you want to check her out? She wasn't great, but Eric saw potential in her and said, you know what, I could teach her a good vault, brought her in, and she has been just a stud for this team. Just does everything she's asked. One of the hardest workers they've ever had in their gym. Great story. Sophia Diaz on bars, Ashley Knight on the balance beam.
On bars, beautiful extension for Sophia. The lift from her shoulders is what's standing out to me. Handstand right on the top of the bar. Looking for a stick here. Beautiful double layout.
So Michigan answering the bell after Jay-Z's miraculous save, but was a big deduction nonetheless in her 9-2. Ava Jordan, Sophia Diaz putting up 2 good routines with 2 yet to go.
And this connection right here, unique. Side aerial connected into a round off.
You can see that 9.475 for NC State from Sanaya Thomas. They will want to drop that. So both Michigan and NC State right now flirting with some mistakes, hoping they can drop that low score. Again, those are your top 2 teams after the first rotation.
Anytime the judges feel that the gymnast's body is out of alignment with the beam, they're going to take a deduction. Wow, very difficult front toss, straight legs. Takes a lot of strength to do something like that. Wow, that was a beautiful, I really love that. It was so elegant.
Unique, again, a unique dismount. See a lot of 1.5s, a lot of gainer folds off beam, but unique dismount. Here's Sunday's ACC Network Women's Basketball Quadruple Header featuring 3 top 20 teams. Number 14, Duke, takes on Virginia at noon Eastern. Then number 19 ranked North Carolina hosts BC, followed by number 13 Georgia Tech and Louisville. And we cap the day with Miami and Syracuse. Eve Jackson here on floor. This mount, big time air.
Yeah, keep an eye on how open her hips are right here. She could do it in a layout position.
Skirted with that line. Emma Strom on the left side for Arizona. She is their 5th vaulter, the 5th hit vault. So they got 1 more yet to go, but they will count 5 hit routines there. Amy Smith said the theme for Clemson this year is elevate. She said team 1 last year set the foundation, and now they want team 2 to start to lift the program up, and they have high hopes and expectations for their squad.
Front through into double tuck. I love how Eve barely has to grab her legs. It looks so effortless for her. Watch how open her body is, and she doesn't even need to grab her legs. I'd say majority of gymnasts who are doing that skill have to pull their legs to help them rotate faster.
I'll tell you, even as a former gymnast, I see things that I would never want to do, and then I see things that make me wish I could still do it. That's one of them.
Yeah.
It just looks like you're flying, and you don't get that feeling in a lot of sports, and that from Eve Jackson is something special right there. All right, back over to the bars. Again, Michigan trying to drop that 9.2. Here's a veteran, J.C. Bohr.
Great height on that Tkachev. I think was a little short on that handstand. Sometimes when you're nervous, you rush your handstand positions and you are afraid to take that risk and get right on top of the bar, just like she did there. Great correction for her.
Katie Harper left side for NC State. Their 5th gymnast to go on beam. Unfortunately for NC State, 2 scores now in the 9.4, so that means they will have to count Sanaya Thomas's 9.475. That makes these last 2 even more important for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and you hope they don't realize how important these routines are for them. There's already enough pressure on beam as it is. Difficult skill front toss. You can see her breathing in between each element.
NC State needed that one. Molly Arnold now on the floor exercise. She's been battling some injuries of her own, but without Rebecca Wells in the lineup, they needed her to go. She follows a pair of 9.75s.
Starting off with a full in, landed a little bit lower than I think the judges would like to see. It's a very difficult first pass. An E value, which is the most you can get in college gymnastics.
Allison Fears, the senior, finishing things off for Arizona on vault.
Wow, that was gorgeous. I loved how open her shoulders were on the table. Her elbows were so straight and her body was very tight throughout. Head coach says she has a very high gymnastics IQ.
Low score for Arizona, 9.75, so that vault from Fears should allow them to drop that score. Should be slightly higher.
Two and a half punch front. That is one connection that makes me so nervous. I struggled a lot with it when I used to compete it when I was younger. It's so hard to get that timing correctly, and she did that perfectly.
She's loving it. Yeah, a lot going on in this pass, as you said, Allie.
Yeah, it's really hard to time this 2.5 punch front correctly. You have to set yourself up from the back handspring in the right spot. You don't want to be vertical. You want to be a little bit past vertical, but not too much, because then it will mess up your punch front.
Chloe Negretti now finishing things off for NC State on beam. Katie Harper, a 9.8. They needed that. And even bars for Michigan, their veteran, Carly Bauman, had to finish after a miss last week against Denver. Came through. Can she do it again?
Watch Carly on bars. This Jaeger release move is so high, one of the best in the world, connected immediately into that shoot over. She only had to do that horizontally and was well above that. Did it with ease. And then on beam, what you'll notice about Chloe is the rhythm. She does one skill after another. Chloe has an elegance on beam. It's my favorite event to watch her on.
Chloe's the 2024 ACC Specialist of the Year.
Round off double twist. Beautiful.
They needed that. They needed two big numbers, the 9.8 from Harper, and certainly that routine from Negretti should be a 9.8 or better. So they, yes, they will have to count that 9.475, but they dropped that 9.425, and they have some other good scores to count in there. Taylor Davis, you got more on Clemson?
Yeah, you guys were talking about just the second year for this program, and head coach Amy Smith told me last preseason was challenging. She said our facility wasn't complete yet. Our team was training in different gyms across the state, but this preseason, they created an environment of competition down here by their corrals, guys. Oh no, an unfortunate fall right there, but they have been composed, they have been relaxed, and she said what you guys said. We expect to contest in this conference early. This is the third women's program that Clemson has added in the last 5 years. They have the resources and the support to do it.
Thanks, Taylor. And Bree actually just became the first gymnast in NCAA history to perform the biles on floor. I know she fell on it, but it's a huge, incredible accomplishment for her to do such a difficult skill that so few gymnasts in the world are able to do. So that's so exciting.
The biles obviously named after the greatest gymnast on the planet, the GOAT, Simone Biles. You would have seen that skill done at the Olympics in Paris.
Yeah. And I know gymnasts were often perfectionists. I know she fell on it. It's not what she wanted to happen, but I hope she's very proud of herself because that's a huge accomplishment and it's very exciting for gymnastics.
And that's what you do early in the season. You know, you try some new things, you try some new lineups, some more difficulty. As you get into February and March, you start to level things out, maybe take less risks as you get to the postseason. And here's another look at it.
Yeah, so this biles is a double layout in the last twist. She's gonna do a half turn. It's so difficult. It's really hard to have the patience to wait till the second flip to do the half twist.
And it almost looked like her steps or something was a little off because she took off of the sting mat, which is also very unusual. So not sure if that was planned, but it looked like it might have been a little bit off. Talk about saves. How about Jay-Z Ranger's save right here, Allie?
This was unbelievable. I don't know how she stayed on the bar. Look at her wrist is not even fully on the bar. It's her fingertips. I don't know. That was unbelievable save and did an excellent job recovering that routine.
Taylor's with Bev Plock. Let's go to our coach's interview presented by Jersey Mike's.
Thank you, John. Well, Coach, an unbelievable one-arm save from Jay-Z Ranger. Unfortunately, a low score early in the rotation. How did the rest of the lineup respond?
You know, I thought very well. We're just trying to get our feet under us this year with all these freshmen, and you know, that was an unfortunate mistake, but I don't know how you have the kind of strength to hang on with one arm like that on a release move. But happy with the way the rest of the lineup came back, and we just have a lot of things we still need to clean up and fix.
On to the next. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Bev Plock, you've done so much for Michigan in her 36th season, and it is the Wolverines that have the lead by 0.4 of a point halfway through tonight's competition. Wildfires in 2025. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. So sad what's going on. I feel like everybody knows somebody that's been affected by those wildfires. Here is our score halfway through this competition. Michigan by 0.4 ahead of Clemson and Arizona. NC State is also not out of it. So Michigan on top here tonight, Allie, but it has been a rough few years. Michigan won the championship in 2021, the NCAA championship, that is, but it's kind of gone downhill from there. Last year, their lowest finish in this century for the Michigan program, but they've got a lot of young talent, a freshman class that's been tagged as the best freshman class in the country.
Yeah, they have 7 freshmen this year and 1 transfer, so 8 new routines, but they've also struggled with some injuries. So I feel like there's a lot of changes going on, and I think that this competition is going to be really important for them to gain that experience. These freshmen, they've never been out on a floor like this before, so this is a big moment for them, and I'm excited to watch them.
Well, one of those star freshmen is Sophia Diaz, and she is our featured athlete presented by Sprout. She's something special, Allie.
She truly is. She's the 2-time all-around junior national champion, so we know she's excellent under pressure. She's someone that I have my eye on, and I'm very excited to watch her. I love watching her on bars because she has beautiful handstand positions.
And she's got really cool shades. I need to find me some of those shades. Michigan, the team in the lead. They go to the balance beam next.
You watching the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. Not only do we have some exciting team competition here tonight, we've got a little family competition. The Childs sisters, Arizona's Olivia Childs and NC State's Peyton Childs. The two are competing in the same meet for the first time in their collegiate careers, just 3 years apart, but essentially an entire country apart. Olivia told me they only see each other on holidays, so this one's incredibly exciting. But John, I've done some investigative reporting, and I can confirm these two are talking smack down here. They're incredibly competitive with one another, but pretty special moment for them to be sharing the same stage here tonight. A little sibling rivalry, you gotta love it.
Got 3 boys, 11 and under in your house. I will vouch for that. But no, that's a great story. A sidebar to that, they come out of Sunshine Gymnastics in North Carolina, and there's 6 gymnasts from that club competing here tonight. It's pretty cool. So shout out to Sunshine Gymnastics. Rotation 1, Michigan led by a 10th. Now they extended that lead to 4 tenths, but again, about a half a point separates first to fourth here as we're halfway through this first session of the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. Clemson will get things going here on the left side of your screen. They are on vault. Tara Walsh, Emily Muller for Arizona.
Yurchenko full. Great landing there. She's actually training a Yurchenko 1.5, but not quite ready to compete yet, but I'm excited to see her try it, hopefully in the season. And on bars, check out this massive release move, how high she gets, floats on top of the bar. And then what stood out to me when I was watching her is the speed in her giants right before her dismount. Really dynamic double layout. Great start. That's why she's the leadoff position. They trust her. She knows she's going to start them off on the right note.
Sophie Parenti now starts things off for Michigan. Again, they are in the lead. NC State Clemson tied right behind them, 4 tenths back. Arizona in 4th. A little over half a point back. Still anybody's meet to win.
Great start. When you start your first skill and you nail it like that, it helps you take a deep breath and gives you more confidence for the rest of the routine.
Meg Adler will get things going for NC State. They are on the floor exercise.
I'm noticing how tight Sophie's legs are, her arms are. It's why she hasn't had any balance checks. Front aerial, connected beautifully into a split jump. Excellent start for Michigan. And then Meg on floor, that straddle jump after that first pass is very difficult. You've got to be perfectly on to be able to get that height that she did. It's also really beautiful to watch and adds a little bit uniqueness to that floor routine.
Molly Arnold over on vault. Follows Tara Walsh's 9.8. Great start for Clemson.
Yurchenko half. We don't see that as often. It's a harder landing to stick because you're not able to see the floor before your feet go down. And on floor, was supposed to do a front layout out of that, missed her punch and had to tuck her legs.
And that was a save, though.
Good save.
That could have been touching the floor with your hands easily. But managed to stay on her feet. Here's another look at that layout half, Allie.
Yeah, I think she twisted a little bit too quickly off of the table, landed a little bit in the squat. I think once she gains more confidence, she'll be able to lift her shoulders first before rotating backwards.
That was a savvy landing, though. Took that deep squat, which might be a small deduction, but savvy enough to keep it on her feet. Uneven bars. Follows Emily Muller's 9825. Here's Abigail Martin.
Great save on that first cast handstand. It's such a fine line between having the guts to go for that cast handstand and then just miscalculating it slightly. That's why she had to arch. I think coaches would rather see their gymnasts. Wow, that was gorgeous.
That was big.
That was a stunning double layout. That floated in the air. I think coaches would prefer to see their gymnasts have the guts and the courage to go for that cast handstand. See, arched right there. Takes a lot of strength and back flexibility to save that. They'd rather see that than them not hit that handstand. And that gorgeous double layout, hips open throughout, very high above the bar.
We've seen a couple big double layouts off the bars tonight.
That's a skill we see a lot in college gymnastics. So the judges are watching the same double layout over and over again. So when you do a massive one like that, it's definitely going to pay off in the score.
You make everybody else look bad, right? You did the big double layout. Everybody who else comes up next, you better go big, right?
I would imagine that's maybe the goal in the nicest way if you're competitive.
That would be my goal, to make everybody else look bad, Allie. If I could do it. I never did it, but that's what would be my goal. Kaylee Boozer getting ready to go on balance beam. She is outstanding gymnast to watch. You talk about, you know, Sofia Diaz and athletes like that have such great execution. This athlete right here, just poise. Last weekend she had to go up after mistakes and just crushed it, but did it with style.
This is a gymnast that I think everybody should keep their eye on. I actually spoke to Kaylee and Coach Plocky because I asked them, I said, have you thought about having her later in the lineup? Because her beam routine is just fantastic, and I'm excited for you all to see it. But Kaylee actually said she prefers to go earlier in the lineup. It makes her feel more in control, and she feels like there's less time to overthink if she gets to go earlier. So Coach Plocky is hoping, as she gains more confidence, to be later on in the lineup.
Well, they're giving her the waiting game over on balance beam as she finally gets the green light there. Ellie Hadrick for NC State on floor exercise. She follows a 9.475, so a little bit of trouble here for the team that was tied for second after the last rotation. NC State, they've got 5 routines. They need 5 hits. 5 for 5 now.
Front aerial skill, it's always so frustrating to fall on that skill, especially when you do it so much in practice. She got a 9.875 last week in competition. But keep in mind, this is only her second time competing for college, so this is a big moment for her just to gain experience. We're still very early on in the season. Mistakes happen. Doing a great job. Her arms are very tight and very aggressive.
So what does that mean for Michigan? Kaylee Boozer is going to have a low score because of that fall. They have 1 hit. They have 4 gymnasts to go. Again, you have to count 5 of the 6 athletes' scores, and that just put an immense amount of pressure on the rest of the lineup.
Kaylee did a beautiful job finishing up. I didn't see any other deductions in that routine besides that fall.
Yeah, and that's really too bad.
I know, and the fall is half a point. And this floor routine has been beautiful. I think the first routine for Meg, they're gonna wanna drop that score, so she did a great job coming back for her team. That first foot that went on the beam was crooked, so she just wasn't able to grip the beam. And then this first tumbling pass went out of bounds. That's gonna be 1/10 of a deduction.
And that is unfortunate. Tried to hold on to that tumbling pass and just couldn't quite keep it in bounds. Back over to Vault and Clemson. Here's Trinity Brown with a big Yurchenko.
Yeah, that was a beautiful Yurchenko full. Floated into the air. Trinity's also training Yurchenko 1.5 as well as her teammate. So I'm excited to see that and hoping that we get to see that soon.
Now Aubrey Kronfeld for Arizona. They have a 9.825 and a 9.65. So again, don't want to count that 9.65 if they can help it.
Double layout, beautiful. And usually from this angle, we see major leg separation. That was very clean in the air the entire time.
But was it as big as her teammates, Abigail Martin?
It was very good, but I think Abigail's was better, but that doesn't take away from how good hers was either.
Yeah, it's hard to deduct on pure height on a double layout. I don't think the judges typically do that unless it's extremely low. That one was not. It was still very good, but again, that Martin double layout was something else.
Yeah, it is definitely a tough double layout to follow. The judges do take into account, though, they want to see your hips above the bar when you do dismount. That's important for them.
So it looks like we have a little delay on beam again. The judges, you know, last weekend too, a lot of slow moving scores. Maybe the judges need to get back in their rhythm too, Allie.
I think the judges are trying to be more intentional about connections that they give, and it seems like they're trying to be a little bit stricter with their judging. I don't know why there's a delay.
So here we are on floor exercise. Krista Zolkovitz follows at 9.625 and a 9.475. So they're going to have to count that 9.625. 4 gymnasts to go. Jason Moore finally gets up on the beam.
There's that very difficult 2.5 punch front connection. JC did a good job saving that, but that's going to be at least a 210 deduction.
And with that boozer 9.125, Michigan opening the door. The question is, who's going to step through it? All the teams having a little bit of a struggle in this, the third rotation.
Yeah, I'm never surprised in big competitions, the pressure of being on TV on the podium. Mistakes happen, especially this early on in the season. It's very nerve-wracking. And then, you know, sometimes mistakes can be contagious. You see your teammate go before you, they make a mistake. You know only one score can be dropped. It adds more pressure. This round off. 1.5. Oh.
Wow. He was under-rotated in the middle of that pass and tried to gut it out.
Yeah, I'm glad to see she was able to get right back up, but that 1.5 just didn't rotate it enough, didn't get enough height on that. You know, also this early on in the season, endurance I think is a really big factor. Keep in mind these gymnasts are exhausted after the end of the routine. Watch her legs as she steps out of it, bent both of her legs, needed to keep them both straight, and then still went for the double twist. Was just unfortunately way off on that, but glad to see she was able to get right back up.
I mean, I got to give her some props on going for that double full. The 1.5 way back on that, way under rotated, but a gutty effort. Maggie Holman on vault now. Oh, man. It was a low landing, but she stuck it, Allie.
Yeah, she did stick the landing. It was front pike half, the first one we've seen tonight. That's a 10-0 start value. And this is a beautiful bar routine.
This is Elena Dietz. Now, opportunity for Arizona with some mistakes from the teams in front of them. NC State and Michigan in particular.
There's an elegance to this bar routine. The toe point just floating from one skill to another. And that was another gorgeous double layout.
I think the double layout, if you have that technique down, it's one of those dismounts that's easier to stick. I don't want to say easy. I said easy last week and somebody got mad at me. It's a double layout, John. It's not that easy, but I think it's easier. You see the floor coming from a long ways away, right, Allie?
It's a skill that's easier to stick than double front dismount because you're able to spot the landing. But at the end of the day, you're still doing 2 flips in the air in a layout position. So it's, I don't think anything in gymnastics is easier, but when you're comparing it to other dismounts, maybe. We'll ask the gymnasts when they're done.
Yeah. JC Vora, 9.5. She managed to stay on the beam, but the judge hit her nonetheless. Jenna Mulligan now. Mulligan's not going to get a second chance. This is going to be a counted routine. They've got 3 yet to go.
Jenna was part of the 2021 NCAA National Championship team. So hopefully that will give her some confidence in this crucial moment right here. Great job connecting that. Saw her arms go above her shoulders and continue the movement. Jenna was the leadoff spot for Michigan last year. It's her 5th year, so Coach Plocky doesn't want her to go first because she wants to train someone else to be in that position. You're seeing that confidence she gained from that leadoff position.
Sanaya Thomas on floor exercise for NC State. Had some trouble on beam. Only gymnast last week in week 1 of competition to have 3 scores of 9.8 or better.
And that was impressive from Jenna. Handled that pressure so beautifully. I think that's something you can't teach. You know both of your teammates before you made a mistake, and she did a really good routine. The only deduction I saw was just that step on that dismount.
That was clutch.
Beautiful double pike. I like the distance that she gets on her round off back handspring.
And those 3 9/8s or better were for her team, obviously not nationwide, so she helped lead that NC State squad to a strong start to their season. Here's Madison Minner now, following a 9.525 from Holman.
Chenko tuck 1.5.
You see Eric Lewis there coming off the mat, left side of your screen. That's the vault he believed when he saw her in that club. I believe I could teach her that vault. And he did, and she's been a big contributor to the Tigers here.
Beautiful front layout. I love the way that she pushed her arms out to the side. It's the type of technique that makes the layout look really beautiful.
The score for Zoltovich right before her, just a 9.1. So Thomas and the Wolfpack really needed a hit right there, but they're gonna have to count that 9.475. All right, Jay-Z Ranger now. The freshman, we saw her with that miraculous save on the uneven bars. Well, she needs to save her team here. Already counting a 9.5. Sophie Durr for Arizona, trying to make a move, take advantage of some of these mistakes. She's their 5th gymnast.
And on bars, Sophie, the flexibility that she has right here on this skill, that straddle. Slight wobble for Jay-Z. It's hard to remember when you're on beam under all that pressure to take deep breaths into each skill, one skill at a time, and compete like you've practiced every single day. Jay-Z's actually going to do the most difficult dismount in the entire competition. So double back. So few gymnasts do this. Beautiful. I admire the risk. It's harder to stick because it's so difficult.
Yeah, much harder dismount to stick than the 1.5s that we typically see, or the gainer fulls off the side, certainly. But if you can pull it off, it leaves an impression in the judge's mind.
I agree. I think as a gymnast, you always want to leave the judges with a good impression. And keep in mind, they're seeing a lot of the skills over and over again. So to have some versatility is something they really like.
Here's sophomore Ashley Knight now. 2 yet to go for NC State on this event.
Very dynamic in that front double twist. This last tumbling pass is beautiful. The back layout, step out. Watch this. For those longtime gymnastics fans, that reminds me of the '92 Olympic era. Just stunning.
I love that. One gymnast yet to go for Clemson on vault. One more for Arizona on bars. Michigan on beam. And one more for NC State on floor exercise.
Coach Smith told us that if warm-ups go well, she's going to try to do a new vault. Yurchenko 1.5 for the first time.
This is Quinn Cool, actually. We've got a change in lineup, I believe. It is not Eve Jackson. We're jumping over to the bars real quick. Allison Fears trying to put an exclamation point on the Arizona bar rotation. Here's Quinn Cool.
Beautiful. Another gorgeous double layout. Yurchenko full.
Yep, just a Yurchenko full, Allie, but a clean one.
Yeah, very clean. I'd love to see how she gains more confidence for her to twist a little bit later off the table, but it's hard to fix that in training because she's probably been training this for years and it's a habit, but very well done.
Very good rotation for Clemson. Arizona finishing off a strong bar rotation, but Michigan and NC State, the ones struggling here in this third rotation. Ranger, though, a 9.8, big routine for them. They're going to count that 9.5. It's up to Carly Bauman to make sure they don't count anything lower than that. Here's the veteran. And Chloe Negretti, the veteran for NC State, on floor exercise as well.
Beautiful series from Carly. Chloe opening up with a clean double pike.
Chloe, the ACC champ on floor exercise in 2024.
I love how sharp Chloe is on beam and floor. Does a great job balancing the elegance with the power and being dynamic. Carly's doing a great job of handling this pressure. It's not easy to wait till the very end.
Nice job from Bauman. They will drop that 9.125. They'll count that 9.5, but they minimize the damage, certainly did Michigan. And that routine just needs a 9.725 for Michigan to maintain the lead. Again, they had a 4/10 cushion. So a little room for error coming into this rotation. I do suspect that Bauman score will be good enough to keep them in the lead. And Chloe Negretti doing the best she can for her team as well after some early mistakes.
Watch her body position when she opens up this double tuck. Chest position, judges are looking for vertical chest position, was almost there. Judges are nitpicky tonight. They might take a very minor deduction on that last tumbling pass, but it was very well done, very clean routine.
Associate head coach for NC State calls Chloe Negretti a super leader. Leads by example. And something certainly that team will need this season. We're gonna go back to Allison Fears bars. The highest score so far in the competition, 9.9 for this one.
Yeah, the height of this release move is extremely impressive. And then this gorgeous floating double layout you can see on her face. They worked so hard for these moments.
So the senior Allison Fears gets it done with that 9.9. Bauman a 9.8. That is enough to keep Michigan in the lead. Oklahoma City, a little snowier than usual, but what a beautiful town.
I'm a boss and I always win. Everything done is a perfect 10. So when it comes to the bar, it's higher than it's ever been.
Rise high, nails it.
Raising the bar.
It is a 10, perfect 10.
Raising the bar. Raising the bar.
The Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. It's a great weekend of gymnastics. 2 more sessions tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. Man, I can't wait to see LSU and Oklahoma on the floor together. That's going to be fun. And then we close it out on ESPN2 at 8 p.m. Great way to finish an outstanding weekend of gymnastics. Michigan, they still got the lead, but it's only 1/10. That team that was in 4th, Arizona, they leapfrog Clemson and NC State. They are now in 2nd. It's going to be a great final rotation. Allie, you and I were both in Paris. It seems like yesterday. We're at the Olympic Games, an amazing Olympic Games for the United States in particular. But a lot of those athletes from that Olympic Games, but also the 2020 Olympic Games, have continued and are competing in this collegiate season. It's pretty special.
It's extremely special. I feel like women's gymnastics is having a very special moment right now, and we have 7 Olympic athletes that are competing this weekend, which is really remarkable. And I can see how the college gymnastics is really rubbing off on the elite world. You see these athletes bringing that love, that passion, the joy and the fun to the elite world, and I love to see it.
And maybe the headliner we saw right at the beginning, Jordan Childs, she'll be competing with UCLA tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. But Allie, I gotta ask you, would you have loved to compete college? And if you did, where would you go?
I would have loved to have competed. My school was the University of Florida. When I was competing, it wasn't as common to do both, so I love how we're seeing gymnasts being able to do college and elite.
And there's some of the highlights of the collegiate season coming up. 60 live meets. Are you kidding me? Who would have ever thought? And how about on the bottom of that, Allie, the men's championships, the NCAA championships will be on ESPN as well. Super pumped for that. Join us all season long. Hey, we're going to have a great finish here in session 1. Don't go away. You're watching the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. And what a start to the weekend it has been. We got some big name teams coming up later this weekend, but right now we have got a grudge match. Michigan has led wire to wire so far with 1 rotation to go, but it is tight. Michigan just 1/10 ahead of Arizona. Arizona was in 4th place after that 2nd rotation, but they swung their way on the uneven bars into that 2nd spot. Clemson and NC State now in the 3rd and 4th spot, respectively. Clemson 0.375 back, NC State 0.575 back. So here's Clemson on bars. Lily Lippett, they've got some work to do, just under 4/10 to catch the leaders, the Wolverines.
Third time for Lily in this leadoff spot, and that handstand was textbook. Bounced on top of the bar and almost held it there for a moment. So difficult to do. Beautiful start.
Krista Zoltovich for NC State on vault. They need some stuck landings is what they need. Almost.
Yeah, Yurchenko full. What I noticed about NC State on vault is from the board to their arms on the table, I think they have the best phase 1 of vaults I've seen from a team. I imagine they work on it a lot, and it's very impressive. So that was really well done.
So the leaders, the Michigan Wolverines, have not been without mistakes, but they've done enough to keep themselves in the lead. Sophie Parenti gets things started there. Allison Fears, just 1/10 back of the Michigan Wolverines, are the Arizona Wildcats. She will start things off there. I always say, Allie, the meet doesn't start till you get to beam. So Arizona in a good spot, but man, they got to finish on beam.
That's right, John. And also the meet's not over until the last person goes. Anything can happen.
Sophie Parenti on the right hand of your screen. 4 years on the senior elite team for Canada. Actually, her dad's a 2-time swimming Olympian for Canada. Her mom a 2-time diving Olympian. So quite the lineage.
Allison doing a very difficult ring jump. Her head completely losing, and eyes completely losing sight of the beam. Big risk there. Rough 1.5 twist. Slight shuffles of the feet over there, but great start for Allison and great start for Arizona.
So well done for Sophie Parenti in Michigan. Trying to hold off the Arizona Wildcats, but really let's not forget about Clemson and NC State. We've seen a lot of jockeying in the scores from rotation to rotation, so really no one out of it, and certainly no one should feel comfortable either. First vaulter for NC State, a 9.725. Clemson, a 9.825 from Lippert. Here's their second gymnast, Dakota Berry.
Maloney into Pac Salto. Doing a good job of being patient. Beautiful handstand again on the top of the bar.
Meg Adler, the second vaulter for NC State.
That was excellent. I think that might be, if not the best, one of the best goals we've seen tonight. The way she catapulted off of the table.
We got a catapult sighting. I love it. She did too.
Watch her elbows in her shoulder position in the air. So well done. Watch the way her body lifts from the table and ever so slightly pikes down.
So trying to build on that 9.725 from Zoltovich in the leadoff spot for NC State. Allison Fears, a 9.775 in the leadoff spot for Arizona. And Parenti for Michigan, a 9.825. Jenna Mulligan now on floor. And Gianna Lenser for Arizona on beam. Remember, these two teams on the screen right now, 1/10 separated them after the last rotation. You can see their scores for the first gymnast looked like out of bounds on that one.
Yeah, it was hard to tell if she went out of bounds. Lifted her front foot up as well. Looked like she was a little off balance on that. Sometimes when you're on podium, the floor is a little bouncier. So you've got to get your timing right. That's why they've got only one practice to figure that out.
Our intelligence network has informed us that the flag was raised, so a 1/10 deduction on the out of bounds for Jenna Mulligan.
This beam routine has been very elegant. It's the dismount, round up 1.5. Good stuck landing. Haven't seen too many stuck landings on beam tonight.
We're sitting right in front of the Michigan fan section, and they're doing a lot of Let's Go Blues behind us. Here's Chloe Negretti on vault.
Wow.
Oh, that was big.
Yeah, what separates that vault to me is she opened her hips. She did not pike down. Had a beautiful flare right before she put her feet down.
I think at Kim Zemeskel back in 1992, a little before your time, Allie. Okay, a lot before your time. But she was the ultimate flare on the Yurchenko full as Eve Jackson for Clemson mounts the bars.
It was beautiful. So was Shannon Miller, too.
Correct.
Straddle Jaeger. Wow, that was a finger tipper as well. But those are the most beautiful ones to watch.
The meat riding on how long your fingertips are is what it feels like right now for Clemson.
Full in dismount. Really nice. Very open, similar to her floor routine, the open full in. I love that.
I'll tell you what, we've got some energy in the arena right now. Clemson, 3 great bar routines. Arizona, 2 great bar routines, 985. For Gianna Lenser, Emily Muller, she can also clinch the all-around here. They're going for the team title, but there's an all-around title at stake, and Muller with a 985, she can make it impossible to be caught for that all-around title.
Wow. Extremely difficult side aerial connected into the layout, step out.
Aggressive too, Allie. She was just going in for that.
Yeah, the word aggressive is something coaches use a lot. If you hold back on beam, that's when you tend to go crooked. But most people can't even do the side aerial layout step out straight on a line on the floor. It's very difficult. She's the only one in the competition to do it, and there's a reason why.
Kaylee Boozer on floor exercise now for Michigan. Want to have somebody in that spot. She's a good one.
Oh, beautiful routine for Emily. I don't think she's going to get that score that she needed because she took 2 big steps on the dismount.
Well, guys, as Kaylee Boozer goes on her first pass here on floor for Michigan, steps out of bounds. Unfortunately, Beth Flocky checked in with her right before this rotation and asked her, hey, you good? After that fall on beam, she said, hey, leave it there. It's a close competition. We need you in this moment. She's been competitive. Unfortunate step out of bounds, but really challenged her to take advantage of this opportunity.
Thanks, Taylor. Adding Lauren Wright to the left hand of your screen for NC State. They're rolling on vault.
Yeah, very impressed with that Yurchenko full as well. Really tight in the air, nice body position throughout. This is why Kaylee's at this competition, to gain experience. I don't think anyone is expecting a freshman to have a perfect competition. So for her to gain the confidence of coming back after a mistake on beam and hitting her floor routine is really important. Sorry, sophomore.
She'll be a fun one to watch in the years to come, most certainly. Maybe not her best day today, but certainly something to build on. And for Michigan, they are fighting for this team title. And right now, it's the team that was 1/10 behind them, Arizona Wildcats. Emma Strom mounts the balance beam. Emily Muller, a 9.8. So could still win the all-around title, but not enough to make it mathematically impossible to be caught Hannah Clark on bars.
Emma starting off with that double wolf turn. Oh, on bars, Hannah let go of the bar too early.
That's a hard part on those releases. A lot of times they're doing skills out of them that they have to be arm's length away. An arm's length, but no further, and you don't want to catch with the arms bent either, which makes it so precise.
It is so difficult to time it perfectly, and Hannah has 45 seconds to get back up on the bar to start the rest of the routine.
But look at those scores from Clemson. They are having a tremendous bar rotation. If Rebecca Wells and Lauren Rutherford can knock it out of the park, this Hannah Clark routine will not hurt them, but the pressure will be on those last 2 athletes.
She's gonna go for it again, as you mentioned, because she's connecting it into the shoot over. Had to start her routine over again, which is not ideal if you're a gymnast. Also takes endurance to have to start that again after you already went up. Great routine for Emma.
Tell you what, Arizona, they are feeling it on beam, and you'd think there'd be pressure, but they don't look like it.
No, they don't. And Hannah just let go of the bar just a moment too early, but beautiful form in the air. When you let go, you know that you're gonna miss the bar, and there's really nothing you can do about it at that point.
Amy Smith with some words. Certainly, probably similar to what you just said, Allie. Now, over to vault, Nia Thomas. Can NC State come from 4th to 1st? They're making a run.
Wow, wow. Beautiful. Tried so hard to stick that landing.
We've seen a lot of those landings from NC State where they land and stick for a moment, but then there's a foot move. And you just wonder, is that the difference at the end of the day. They did have a big margin to make up, 0.575, but certainly not impossible. Paige Thaxton on floor exercise for Michigan. 2 scores in the 9.7s. They did start with that 9.825, but man, the way Arizona is going on beam, you feel like they're gonna have to score better.
And that was greatly improved from last week. Landed a little bit short last week on that first tumbling pass.
And you can actually see an extra mat put under the sting mat in that corner. Early in the season, Michigan has been dinged up already early. A lot of nagging injuries, really playing it safe with that extra mat.
Yeah, I think it's smart. It makes a very big difference. When you're watching the competition, keep in mind these landings and the mats are a lot harder than they look. Those sting mats make a very big difference and help prevent injuries.
There they are. The noisy group right behind us in the stands, but they're trying to will their team to a victory tonight. Emma Strom for Arizona, a 9.7. That is their lowest score. It feels like if you count that, if you're Arizona, if you count that, it's not going to be enough. They're going to have to do better here on these last 2 routines. Tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, after our men's basketball triple header, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every men's game and look ahead at the best matchups on the schedule in the coming week. Nothing but net. That was me when I used to play basketball. Nothing but net. Going over to Beam. Go ahead, Taylor.
Well, John, Arizona head coach John Cord just came up to me and said, hey, those last 2 hit routines were falls last week. He said a junior and a senior that really took it upon themselves and said, oh no, that's not how we're starting this one. He said 1 week later, and we're looking like a beam team.
They absolutely are, Taylor, and they, looks like that Emma Strom score was changed to a 9.675. So again, that's the score they want to drop regardless. As Abigail Martin moves through her routine.
It's a beautiful series connection. I noticed the flexibility in her back. Front aerial, very sharp.
So you can see the scores on the right hand for Arizona and Michigan and their event scores. 39-1 for Arizona, 39-175 for Michigan, but they're still counting their low score. So again, it depends how much that low score getting dropped changes the total at the end. But right now, it's just razor close between these two. Rebecca Wells didn't do the all-around tonight, but here she is on bars.
Yeah, she's had to wait the entire competition to do this bar routine. I think that's one of the most impressive routines of the night because she's had to wait. It's so hard to not overthink while you're waiting hours and hours for your turn to go, and her event was last. So excellent job.
And that ankle, the problem for her, a couple hops in the landing, which might be from that ankle.
I loved the arch of her back on this back handspring layout.
Arizona loving this beam rotation. Just one yet to go. Elena Dietz will anchor Arizona. Carly Bauman takes to the floor exercise for Michigan. Here's Ashley Knight finishing things off for NC State on ball.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
No hop on that one, Allie.
No, that was absolutely stunning. That ball is also out of a 10.0. I think that should be their biggest score of the night. It was beautiful.
And again, NC State in that 4th spot. They are counting 2 scores in the 9.7s. Despite that great finish and really a great rotation overall, I don't think it's going to be enough for them to move up into the top spot, certainly.
Beautiful last tumbling pass for Carly.
Head-to-head here, Arizona, Michigan. Elena Dietz, left hand of your screen. She is the anchor following Abigail Martin's 9-9, the highest score of the night on beam. A great routine here will drop that 9.675. And depending on what JC Ranger does on floor exercise, could Arizona come from behind and get the win?
Would be extra impressive because they're ending on beam. This routine has been beautiful.
Another lineup change for Clemson. Quinn Cool in here to finish things off for the Tigers. And there's the finish for Dietz. They will drop that 9.675. Allie, will it be enough?
That beam rotation was impressive. At the end of the competition, you're typically tired mentally and physically, so the fact that they handled the pressure that well is going to be a huge confidence boost for them. Double layout, stuck dismount.
And how about Clemson? They were just 0.375 out of the top spot. And they had that mistake from Clark in that rotation, but my goodness, they came on strong there at the end. This is a 5'8" gymnast doing a double layout. That's big.
Very impressive. Just like leg separation on that dismount. But other than that, it was a great finish.
The last gymnast to go in this session is Jazara Ranger. She is a freshman, and she is a freshman with all the potential in the world. We've seen some of the greatness. She's had some mistakes. We saw that amazing save on bars, but right now the meat is on the line, and it's on her shoulders. Can she do it for Michigan? It's going to take a 9.825.
Very unique front layout step out into a round off back handspring double tuck.
In her freshman debut last week, she scored a 9.8. A 9.825 gets Michigan the win. Another 9.8. They will tie Arizona for the victory here today. What a finish.
This first tumbling pass double layout, we don't see this often. Extremely difficult, kept her hips open throughout. And then this front layout step out, we rarely see that. I love it into a double tuck.
I want to put you on the spot, Allie. Is that enough?
I knew you were going to do that, John. You know,
my favorite thing to put you on the spot.
I
mean, you have all the medals.
I honestly think it is.
I think it's going to be enough.
I do, but I don't know because I feel like the judges are scoring harder this season so far, so I'm not sure.
I think it's going to be enough at least for the tie. I watched her last week at that 9.8. That was big gymnastics, and the judges love big gymnastics, so we will see. But what a competition. Michigan had, their coaches said, I want to forget last weekend. It wasn't good for them, but they came out. They had some mistakes today, but they came out so much better. But tip the hat to all these teams, really. But Arizona, they were sitting down in that fourth spot and came storming back to finish with a pair of 9.9s on that beam.
I think this, for all 4 teams, I think this competition is going to be really big for them. I think they've all learned a lot from it. It's a big confidence boost for them. I was very, very impressed and very excited to watch them throughout the season.
There is a 9-9 for JZ Ranger. That's going to get the win by 1/10 over Arizona. We're going to wrap things up. You deserve those shades, JZ. We'll be right back. Take a breath. Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, powering women on and off the mat. We said it was going to be an exciting competition. It came right down to the last routine, and it's Michigan. Wire to wire, they get the win, but don't let that make it sound like it was easy. They had to really dig deep at the end. They get a 1/10 win over the Arizona Wildcats. Taylor Davis, she's with the hero for the Michigan Wolverines.
The hero indeed, JZ Ranger. All right, JZ, we got to start out talking bars because it was the talk of our broadcast, okay? That one-arm save, but then you go to beam and floor, you win this meet for your team. What can you say about the growth that you are seeing in yourself so quickly?
Well, I'm just trying to be 1% better than myself every single day. So, if that happens, then I'm getting better, my team's getting better, and, that's all I can wish for. So.
This is a very young team, 8 newcomers at a very storied program. Coach Blocky talked openly about how much you guys are learning as season goes on. What does a win like this do for the morale and the confidence of this young team?
Yeah, I just think it helps us get in the gym again, try to attack every skill, be intentional about everything we do because, from last week to this week, it shows a lot of growth. And so we just want to keep heading up.
It was going to take a 9.825 for you guys to win this meet. You put up a 9.9 on floor. What was going through your mind as you went up there for your final routine?
I just wanted to breathe and have fun. Yeah, I was ready for the celebration at the end. The stick to celebrate, yeah.
Well, a lot to come from you, no doubt about it. Go enjoy this one with your team.
Thank you so much. Go Blue.
Yeah, she just wanted to breathe and have fun. Meanwhile, the Michigan fan base behind me was holding their breath. But what a performance, Allie, from JZ Ranger. What a fun freshman to watch.
So fun. I will never get over this moment. I am so impressed by this save. I truly don't know how she held on her fingertips. And to be able to come back the rest of the competition, it's amazing. This first tumbling pass, double layout was so beautiful, got distance on that. And then this fun tumbling pass, the front layout, it was beautiful. Really exciting for her to be able to clinch that title for her teammates.
And how about the Michigan Wolverines? Bounce back after a tough opener to the season. So many expectations for this team over the years. They won that 2021 title, and it's been a rough road since then. Could this be a turning point for them?
I definitely think so. I think this competition is going to set them on the right path. They did a really great job tonight. As I've mentioned a couple of times, mistakes happen in these competitions, especially this early on in the season, and for them to come back so strong and to handle the pressure so well is huge for them, and I'm excited to watch them.
And Arizona gave them everything that they could handle. What a finish for the Wildcats with a couple 9.9s on beam. Really put the pressure on the Wolverines, but the trophy is yours. All-around competition was going on tonight as well, and I'm sorry to say to the Michigan Wolverines, you guys didn't win this one. It was Emily Muller and Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah, what a great competition that she had. Starting off on floor, starting the team off so beautifully, and then this vault was just gorgeous. What a confidence booster to win competitions so early on in the season, and then this extremely high release move definitely sets her apart from the rest of the competition. And Arizona, I think, should teach us all how to do double layouts because they figured it out.
There needs to be a ride at Disney World that's called the double layout off bars ride, because I think I would sign up for that one. Tomorrow's schedule, tune in again. It's going to be even better. We're going to have, I call it the NCAA Final Preview. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern on ABC. The defending champs, the LSU Tigers, will be in that session. And then we finish out with 4 more great teams. And of course, Olympic champion Jordan Childs will be in that final session on ESPN2, 8 o'clock Eastern. Allie and I are going to be there. Why wouldn't you want to be there as well? Great start to the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad. Michigan, they get the win by 1/10 over Arizona, followed by Clemson and NC State. Coming up next, the return of ACC gymnastics, and don't forget to join us tomorrow, 4 Eastern on ABC, 8 Eastern on ESPN2. For Allie Raisman, Taylor Davis, I'm John Roethlisberger. So long from Oklahoma City.